I mean, listen, we're talking about practice.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Hello? You play to win the game.
I am very excited to talk about sports!
Hey everybody, Nick here with the Wednesday Night Sports Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at AAF Wednesday. What an exciting weekend of sports action we just had. So let's get things started. First, I'd like to introduce Logan. How's it going, Logan? Hey everybody, Nick here with the Wednesday Night Sports Podcast. After a long week off, Logan and I are finally back on the air. It's been a while, hasn't it, Logan?
Yes, I'm glad to be back on clean soil.
Oh, man. And we will be talking more about that once we get Alex back from his blizzard that is currently happening in Colorado. But we'll go ahead and get things started with talk about the Final Four. We have a new national champion in the form of the UVA Cavaliers. Wahoo wahoo, UVA, go who's go. Thoughts on their victory over the Texas Tech Raiders, or as the internet likes to call them, the Tortilla Boys.
I guess before we jump into the national championship, we probably should mention how they got there on Saturday night.
Yeah.
First off, we know Texas Tech pretty much stomped a mud hole in the Spartans, but it was an interesting finish with Virginia and Auburn. Virginia led the whole game, dominated up until the final 4 or 5 minutes, and you saw Auburn go on their run. It feels like every game Virginia played this tournament, like they always had to fend the team off. Obviously, it came down to the end. There was a situation that was very questionable with the double dribble. Now, in my opinion, yes, it was a double dribble, but they never call those. And also a foul. I mean, if you're going to call the double dribble, there was also a foul right there at the same time.
Yeah, but the double dribble was caused by the foul.
Right. So it kind of worked out both ways. There was no foul call and there was no double dribble called. Now, a lot of people argued they shouldn't have called the foul on the three, but I mean, I thought it was a clear as day foul. I mean,
I feel like
all the dude had to do was just put his arms up.
Right, and I feel like it's no different than the foul on Edwards from Purdue against Tennessee.
It was the same exact thing.
So what's the difference? It's Virginia.
There's no difference.
Is it because it's Virginia? I don't understand the Virginia hate.
I don't know. I got no answer for it.
Because it seems like it started last year after they lost to UMBC.
Yeah, I mean, it did. I don't understand it. I wish I had an answer why.
Is it the boring pace?
Possibly, but at the same time, Texas Tech isn't very entertaining either.
Right, but I feel like and I am a UVA fan, I don't feel like that their play is UVA's play. I don't think UVA's play is boring. And I say that because when they hit threes, and they will be on fire, and their defense is phenomenal. And they were the second-ranked offense. Yes, the second-ranked offense in Division I. How is that not exciting?
I blame, and I hate jumping the NBA on this, but I blame the Golden State Warriors for this.
How so?
Because everybody's just used to that pull up and shoot three type NBA type pace now, I believe.
So they don't even take the full 25 seconds.
Right. Steph Curry just running down and like pulling up right in front of half court and just shooting it.
And that's why he has one of the lowest 3-point percentages in the league.
Right.
So I don't understand how that makes it boring. And then I felt like in the Texas Tech game, it's not UVA's fault, and it's not the ref's fault that it took 9 minutes for Texas Tech to hit a field goal.
Exactly. Virginia dominated that game up until that stretch. I know when I was getting out of the airport, I unfortunately didn't get to see any of the second half. But for the first half, I saw a majority of the first half, and Virginia seemed like they dominated. And when I was heading home, I saw they were up 7, or no, it was about 10 points with about 7 minutes left, and I felt like, well, UVA's got this. And then I come back and see they won in overtime.
There were at least two times for the UVA, and I didn't mean to cut you off. At least twice in the game, UVA had a 10-point lead and they blew it.
Right.
But what's interesting, though, is that while UVA had a 10-point lead, that was their biggest lead of the game, Texas Tech was only 4.
Right. And yeah, and it's hard to believe. I didn't know this until I got home and saw the highlights, but Texas Tech was up 3 with 30 seconds left, and Hunter hit that 3 with like 18 seconds left.
Do you think the refs gave Hunter that 3? Is that what happened? Because people seem to think that Hunter, or that the refs are the reason.
Got to knock down that shot, just like Kyle Guy had to make those clutch free throws. I mean, that's a lot of pressure. The free throws he had to hit against Auburn. There's been a lot of times where people's been in the same situation and choked.
But somehow it was the refs that gifted it in the game. How did the refs?
In the end, UVA's the champion.
Exactly. How did the refs give Hunter that 3? And how is it the refs' fault that every time the UVA came down with a rebound in overtime, that Texas Tech fouled them immediately? How's that their fault?
I wish the nation showed as much support, like talking like this whenever the Patriots won the Super Bowl, and say the same type of stuff.
No, but it's the Patriots, though.
Right, and I feel like they aren't doing enough of that for the Patriots, and it's like seems like they're coming at the UVA like harder than they did the Patriots.
Yeah, I don't understand, especially since this is our first ever title. We're not a Duke program. We haven't done anything of significance. I can't speak. Can't do anything of have not done anything of significance prior to winning the championship on Monday.
Right.
Last time we made the Final Four was 1984, and that was without Ralph Sampson.
Yeah, he had just left, right?
Right.
Or was he injured?
Because he was only there from, I want to say 79 to 83.
Right.
And then the year before, they lost to a NAIA team in Chamonix, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Which people still call the biggest upset in college in sports history. One of the biggest upsets.
Is it a bigger upset than UMBC?
Oh yeah, for sure. At least UMBC played in the league.
Yeah. So the fact that we haven't done anything since we made the Elite Eight once in 2016, and then the Sweet 16 2 other times, and then we made the round of 32 once in the 2000s. I don't get it. I don't get the hate. I think people would have been more appreciative of the fact that a team like Duke or UNC did not win.
Right, and I feel like, I know I'm a UNC fan, but I feel like when we win, I feel like everybody's cool with it except for Duke and NC State fans.
Now everybody hates UVA, and everyone's going to be clamoring for a UVA loss next season, which, without Jerome and Hunter, unless Clark and Diakite, who were a major step up in this tournament, unless they get to the level that Jerome and Hunter are at, I think there's going to be we're going to have a major uphill battle.
Yeah. I mean, I looked at majority of the mock drafts. The majority of them have Hunter and Jerome coming out. But these mock drafts aren't making the guys' minds up, so we don't know.
Hell, Zion might not even go. We don't know. You know what I mean?
And now we do know R.J. Barrett did declare today.
Right.
and Ja Morant from Murray State, who might be the one that like might be better than Zion. That like, I don't know. As crazy as it sounds, he could be better than Zion.
People are saying he might go 2 if Zion goes 1. No.
I guess it just depends on what team gets him and what their needs are.
Yeah. Or they just might like draft him just because. Like, remember that one year the Raptors selected 2 point guards in the first round?
Yeah. Or the Timberwolves.
No, it's the Raptors because
the Raptors?
Because they picked Charlie Villanueva.
Oh yeah.
And the other guy, his name escapes me at this moment. But yeah, like teams have done stupider things.
Yeah, I guess I could see a situation where like Atlanta wins the draft lottery. They don't need a power forward or a center, and they go with Ja Morant or something like that to go alongside Trae Young.
Do you think Hunter and Jerome are lottery picks?
By the mock draft I'm looking at, they have Hunter going number 8 to the Wizards.
Oh god.
Jerome would be coming in at 26 to the Cavs.
2 very bad spots.
You would hope if you were going late in the lottery, you'd go to like a good team or something like.
Right.
If you're like Jerome going to Golden State, backing up Steph Curry or something.
Right. But yeah, overall, I'm happy. UVA won. ACC reigns supreme again. I can't complain. So yeah, you want to start talking about NBA?
We can. We don't have the official playoff brackets. They're still kind of being worked on tonight, as we are actually in the middle while games are going on. The only thing we pretty much do know for sure is that it looks like Detroit will grab the 8th seed because they are stomping the hell out of the New York Knicks 65-41. As far as other things go, there's like some little spots that are still being decided, like a 2 through 4 spot, 6, all that. But let's just go through what would if it was happening right now, I guess.
Okay. And we can do what if scenarios if you want.
Yeah. Because obviously, like, there's going to be situations where we're like, even though the Pistons haven't won, we know the Bucks are going to beat them.
Yeah.
If the playoffs started now, I guess we'll start out in the West. And it's to be determined tonight because the 6th through the 8th is not guaranteed in the West. It could be the Warriors versus the Thunder. It could be the Warriors versus the Spurs. And it could be the Warriors versus the Clippers.
Honestly, I kind of want Oklahoma City to drop down to 8 and smoke the Warriors.
I feel like they're the only team out of the 3 that could take them at least deep in the first round.
Yeah. But as seen from last night, Oklahoma City would ruin Houston as well.
Yeah. And then, the 2 through 4 position in the West, the Nuggets, the Rockets, and the Trailblazers are all right there. It could interchange tonight as well.
How likely do you think that is, though?
Well, let's see. I think Portland is just going to settle with the 4 seed. They are sitting out Damian Lillard and
Portland's
CJ
always a number 4 seed, though. They're always either number 4 or
they're always
number
like
5.
middle. They're like, I feel like they're one star away from being like really good.
Greg Odom was
Lillard.
You remember that 08-09 team when they had Odom and Roy,
Brandon Roy,
and Outlaw, and Aldridge? Was Aldridge on that team at that point?
If he was, he would have been like a rookie.
Yeah, but that team was bonkers.
Yeah, he started in 2006, so he'd have been on that team, yes.
Yeah. That team, that's just another, like, what if. But I won't drag off on that.
So,
we'll go ahead and start talking about Golden State versus LA, if it was going to happen.
if it's as the standings are now.
Yeah.
I think this would probably be the best possible matchup for the Warriors.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I've read
I think the second one would be the Spurs because I think Popovich could have something up his sleeve for the Warriors.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if it is the Warriors and the Clippers, I think the Warriors win, and I'm gonna go 4. I was gonna maybe give Clippers the game, but I'll go 4.
Okay. All right. I'm going Golden State in 4 as well.
The next one would be the Spurs and the Nuggets. The Nuggets are a very good team, but Popovich you can never sleep on in the playoffs. I think this has the potential to go to a 6th or a 7th game. Yeah. Obviously, if this matchup stays the same.
Right.
I'll take the Nuggets, but I'll take the Nuggets in 6.
I got the Nuggets in 5.
5? That's fair. That's fair. Because while they do have Popovich, the Spurs roster is like definitely the worst they've had in years.
Right.
Which, if this matchup right here happens, it would be amazing. The Thunder and the Rockets.
I don't think it'll be as close.
You don't think so?
No. I think the team of the Rockets that is now is not the same team from last year. I think OKC could easily sweep it.
Wow.
Yep.
Which is interesting because the Rockets are 8-2 in their last 10. The Thunder the Thunder actually had a 4-game win streak themselves, going hot into the playoffs.
And Thunder also, out of the 4 games against Houston, 3-1.
Interesting. With that said, I would take the Rockets in 7.
3-6 matchup is always really weird, where the 6 most of the time overtakes the 3.
Especially in the West.
Yeah.
Because if you look, like, the worst team's 47 wins and the top 10's 57. That's only 10 wins separating all the teams.
Right.
When you look at the East and it's like a 20-game difference, the Bucks with 60 wins and the Pistons with 40.
Right. It's ridiculous.
And then we got the Trailblazers and the Jazz, which would be a very fun playoff series.
I think it'll be the most
Damian
boring.
Lillard versus Donovan Mitchell. And I could, I guess I could see that because while you do have Lillard and Mitchell, I guess outside there's not much of a supporting cast there. You got C.J. McCollum for the Blazers and Rudy Gobert for the Jazz, but other than that, I mean, they are what they are. They're not superstar teams. They're just kind of really, really good teams.
Yeah, I feel like the 4 or 5 games in the norm are usually a pretty boring and even series outside of last year's Cavs Pacers.
Right.
I got Utah just because of Mitchell in 6.
I'd take the Trailblazers at 7.
Gotcha.
Only because Lillard doesn't lose much in the first round. Like, he's always been like that. He always gets like the second round and just like falls because he always runs into like the Warriors or something because they're always the 4 seed.
Damn shame.
Okay, if we go off what we had, it would be the Warriors versus you would have the Jazz and I would have the Blazers. I would have the Warriors going over the Blazers in 5.
Yeah, I got the same.
With just the Jazz.
Well, no. Well, I would say that either way.
Yeah, either way, it's a 4 or a 5 game series.
Right.
Barring a crazy injury or something. And then that would leave us with, we both had the Nuggets. You would have the Nuggets against the Thunder, and I'd have the Nuggets against the Rockets.
I have OKC in 5.
Wow. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Rockets.
I'm going all in on OKC, man.
The Rockets in 6. Which will set up Warriors versus OKC OKC for you, and the Warriors and the Rockets for me. I don't want to say it, but I'm going to have the Warriors going to the finals. They will beat the Rockets in 6 this time.
I got OKC in 7.
7. I hope so. I really hope so. I'm actually a very big Westbrook fan.
It just seems like they have everything in tune.
Yeah, if they're going to make a run, this is the year. Other than that year when they were up 3-1 with Durant,
Oh man,
this is the year.
Just think. Do you think Durant would have ever gone to the Warriors?
No. Had they went to the finals, I think he would have just stayed there.
Do you think the Thunder would have beaten those Cavaliers?
That was the Cavs that came back from 3-1, correct?
Yep.
You know what? I think they would have.
Yeah.
And I say that because I feel like the Cavs had more motivation against the Warriors because they lost to the same team last year. I feel if they would have played Durant and Westbrook, they would have been motivated to win a championship, but I don't feel the motivation would have been the same because they were really pissed off and wanted to beat the Warriors.
Right.
But it's one of those shoulda, coulda, woulda, so I guess it don't matter.
Right. How do you feel about what if? Hang on, I gotta sneeze.
Oh my!
How do you feel about Durant leaving Golden State? Since we're talking about the West,
it's weird. I guess he could always stay, but I feel like at that point, then they have to give up Clay or Draymond, I believe. I don't know. I feel he could stay if they win the championship, but if they lose, I could definitely see him going out the door. I don't know. If he leaves, I could see him, depending on if the Knicks won the lottery, I could see him going to New York and teaming up with Kyrie and Zion. Or Kemba and Zion. I don't know yet. I think it's hard to make it's hard to tell. It's hard to forecast it.
I think
there was that report yesterday where they said Durant is definitely not going to go to the Lakers.
I don't think anybody is at this point.
Yeah, there was a report. What was it? Him?
Probably Aldridge as well.
Leonard.
Or sorry, not Aldridge, but Leonard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why I said Aldridge?
That said they have no interest whatsoever. Honestly, I can see Kyrie going back and teaming up with LeBron. It looks like they became buddy again.
You don't think Kyrie's going to New York?
I think it's going to be one of those two cities if he doesn't stay in Boston.
Yeah.
But the way he's been talking, man, like he seems like he's fed up with that Boston team.
I would be too.
Which, at the same time, you can't blame them because they should be contending for the top seed.
Right. To think that Boston was going to be the team last year.
They almost beat LeBron James and the Celtics without Kyrie and Gordon Hayward last year.
Yeah. Just think.
They took them to Game 7 and had to lead at one point.
Just think. Had they had Hayward and Irving.
Now, this might sound stupid, but is the Celtics a better team overall when Kyrie isn't playing? Because they did play. It seemed like they played a lot better without him last year.
Yeah. Well, Rozier and Smart probably wouldn't have gotten as many minutes.
Right.
If Kyrie was playing.
But I feel like those guys are better defenders than Kyrie Irving is.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of Marcus Smart, right before he went on the air, they said he would miss the first 2 rounds of the playoffs which is big because he's always kind of been like their him and Rozier's kind of been like their 6 men guys that kind of give them the energy off the bench.
Yeah. It's disappointing. I hate Boston, but I was rooting for Boston against Cleveland last year.
Right, because it was just like an actual underdog story in the NBA because they didn't really have any stars.
Right. Well, I was hoping that the Pacers would beat the Cavs. The Raptors.
They almost did.
Yeah.
Oladipo almost carried the team by himself.
Right. Well, then it got to the point where they couldn't make a shot to save their life.
Yeah. Well, I guess with that, we'll start with the Eastern Conference.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and call it for Detroit.
Bucks in 4.
Yep, Bucks in 4.
Raptors in the Magic. Raptors in 5.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Then we start getting to a little bit more interesting matchups. The 76ers and the Nets. The Nets have been one of the tougher teams to beat this year. Nobody expected this many wins. While I'm still going to go with Philadelphia, I think this pesky Brooklyn team is going to take them to 6 games.
I got Brooklyn in 7.
Wow. I can see it, though. And then very interesting series, the Celtics and the Pacers. Well, maybe not so. If Oladipo was playing, this would be a really fun series. Obviously, he has not, but the Pacers still have played well without him, coming in the 5th seed.
It is the East, though.
Yeah. If Oladipo was playing, I would take the Pacers. I'm going to take the Celtics, though, since he is not. Celtics in 5.
I got Celtics in 4.
Okay. And then we would go into the Bucks and we both had the Celtics. I would take the Bucks in 7.
I got Bucks in 4.
Bucks in 4. And then we would have the Raptors, and I would have the 76ers. You would have the Nets. I would take the... I would take the Raptors in 7 only because they have a really good home court advantage this year.
I got Brooklyn in 7.
Brooklyn going to the conference championship.
Yep.
That would be quite the underdog story. You love those 6 seeds.
I do.
And then, do you see it coming to an end against the Bucks?
I do. Bucks in 4.
Yeah, Bucks in 4. Well, against the Raptors, I'll take the Bucks in 6. So we both got the Bucks in the finals. You have them against the Thunder. I have them against the Warriors.
I got Bucks in 7.
Bucks in 7.
Either way.
I will take the Warriors in 6.
Come on, man. You're jinxing the Bucks, man. This is Giannis's year.
The Warriors in 6. I hate to be that guy.
What do you got against Brogdon, man?
Nothing at all. I hope you're right. I hope the Bucks do win, but I think the Warriors win.
You're jinxing us. The Bucks are my new team, man. I haven't really had an affiliation with a team.
Yeah, because you don't have anything around you really to pull for.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to pull for the Wizards. But
John Wall's a prick.
Exactly. But for me, I've seen Milwaukee play live with their current lineup.
Right.
And I like the Bucks. And I liked them when I saw them play when Giannis was a rookie.
I used to love those Bucks teams with like Ray Allen in the early 2000s. They were pretty fun to watch.
Yeah.
When they went to the conference finals and lost to Jason Kidd in the Nets.
The New Jersey Nets.
The Nets. Oh yeah, brother.
Do you think it'll be an exciting series?
If they play, yes. I think it's going to have to be if it is the Warriors. Despite no matter who it is, I think the Bucks are going to have to get everything they can get from Giannis to win the championship.
As long as his knees don't explode.
Yeah, exactly.
Knock on wood.
Jinxed it right now by saying that, but
yeah.
Well, that's our playoff talk. I I think we should talk about two legends that are retiring this week in their final games tonight, in Dwayne Wade and Dirk Nowitzki. Obviously, Nowitzki's probably the greatest foreign-born player that I could think of. You know, him or Steve Nash. And I guess Yao Ming's up there, but I'll take Dirk all day over Yao. Dirk just kind of changed the game because you never really saw 7-footers come out there and just start shooting threes like that.
Yeah.
And then Dwayne Wade, obviously, probably, in my opinion, I think he's the third best shooting guard of all time behind Jordan and Kobe.
How dare you rank Kobe that high? You know what's funny? I know we're talking about Dwayne Wade, but I have to talk about Kobe for a minute. And a lot of people that hate him. And there's a lot of people that say that he's not even in the top 20 of best players of all time.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm serious.
That's a little outrageous if you ask me.
I agree.
If you don't want to put him in the top 5, I'm fine with that because there have been some great players, but he's got to be in the top 20.
I agree.
And I don't even want to begin on trying to map out a top 5 for me because that would be so tough.
Jordan's obviously number 1.
Yeah, Jordan. LeBron's probably the second greatest player I've ever watched. Whether you think he's clutch or not, he's just a different player than we've ever seen before with his build and being able to do stuff that guys his size shouldn't do.
Right.
So then there's a whole list behind that.
Do you think that LeBron is more successful than Kobe, even though Kobe has more titles?
That's tough, man.
And I say that with caveat that a lot of people say that Kobe only had those first 3 because of Shaq.
And that could be true. I mean, it could be true. We just don't really know because we never know who would have run running center there. But then I think of all those really bad teams that LeBron took to the finals. Well, they may have not won the finals, but there were some bad teams he took to the finals.
Oh, yeah, 2007. And for all intents and purposes, 2015 as well. And 2017. Actually,
that team he took to the finals last year was terrible.
Yeah.
2017
and 2018 were very bad.
There was no Kyrie. Kevin Love was there, but then outside Kevin Love, there was like nobody. Like that was when, like at the beginning of the year, everybody was going crazy because they thought they were going to dominate because they signed like an old Derrick Rose and an old Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, that was very bad. And
I think it's man, that's a toss up, really. I mean, they've both been very successful.
Does it come down to rings though?
I don't even like doing that, and I tell you why is because this Warriors team is a super team, and Kobe didn't really have to play like super teams. I don't believe. Boston probably. He lost the one year and then beat them the next year with Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen.
I would say Boston and they had a lot of trouble with the Kings and Spurs at the beginning.
Yeah. They were, but I don't know if I would. Do you consider I know that the Kings had Chris Webber and Peja Stojakovic and Mike Bibby and at one time Jason Williams.
Honestly, I like the Kings more than the Warriors.
Right. But as far as like all-stars, they didn't. There was more all-stars on the Warriors.
But honestly, I don't feel like that. Outside of like Curry and Durant, that they're, I don't
feel like other guys wouldn't be as good on other teams.
Right. I don't think even individually on the Warriors that Harrison Barnes, Draymond Green,
I forgot Barnes played with the Warriors.
Klay Thompson, Andrew Bogut.
I think Klay Thompson would have the best chance to succeed out of those guys.
But he's so inconsistent.
Right. He's just a shooter.
Right. And he's an inconsistent one as well.
Right. Now, if he was on a team by himself, I don't think so. If he was on a team like with LeBron, I think he would succeed. Like, I feel like he's one of those that he's got to be with a superstar to succeed.
Right.
Well, I guess, Lakers did have to, they lost to a tough Pistons team as well. While it wasn't superstars, they did have a good overall team. They were kind of like the Virginia Cavs of the NBA at that time.
Yeah, and what's funny is that I feel like that had Karl Malone not gotten injured, they probably would have blown out the Pistons.
It's very possible.
Just like I think that the Cavs in 2015 probably would have gone either 4 or 5 games with the Warriors.
If Kyrie didn't hurt himself.
Kyrie or Love.
Right. Yeah, because they still, didn't they, if I'm not mistaken, they still played them close in those games.
Yeah. At one point they were up 2-1. And the first game, they were winning at one point.
And then if I'm not mistaken, they lost it at the end of the game.
Lost in overtime.
Right. And I feel like that just kills the momentum of a playoff series if you're on the road in game one as underdogs and you take a team to overtime and you don't win.
Right. Or
it's kind of similar to how Purdue and Virginia played in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. Diakite with that last shot.
Once Virginia took it to overtime, I felt Virginia was not losing.
Right.
Because the momentum had just shifted, and that's how I felt about that series.
Right. Hang on, I'll be right back. This vegetable lasagna's messing me up. Fuck! Okay, I'm back.
All right.
Sorry. Vegetables. Vegetable lasagna, man. Where were we at? Sorry.
I think we just talked about. I guess we're just on to our next segment. I guess I don't know. I was gonna do today's events in sports history as a new segment we're gonna introduce.
Okay.
You ready?
All right.
All right. Today we're introducing a new segment called Today in Sports History. Today, legendary NFL coach and sports commentary John Madden was born today in Austin, Minnesota in 1936.
Goddamn.
And he's still kicking today.
Goddamn, pal.
Any thoughts on John Madden?
I like his Frank Caliendo skits.
As far as events that happened, on today, in 1913, President Woodrow Wilson threw up the first pitch during the Senators and Yankees baseball game.
Woodrow Wilson was a great man.
In 1991, Wayne Gretzky, when he played with the LA Kings, shout out to Matt Young, LA Kings fan, scored his NHL record 93rd playoff goal, and I believe that still stands today. I could be wrong. 2005, Tiger Woods won his 4th green jacket at the Masters. And that is pretty much all the eventful stuff that happened on this day then.
Do you want to talk about playoffs? Let's do playoffs for NHL.
NHL playoffs?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. We'll go trying to find a bracket. Hang on. And then after this, we could run through our, which we missed it last week, our power rankings of our athletes.
All right.
That we hadn't did in a few weeks.
Sounds good.
Okay, we will start out in the Western Conference with the Nashville Predators and the Dallas Stars. And with that, let's see here if I can pull up my standings here. The Nashville Predators finished the season 47-29. The Dallas Stars finished 43-32. In the NHL playoffs, you do see a lot of upsets here. But with that, I'll take the Nashville Predators. The last few years, they've seemed like they've always got to at least the conference finals and always have made a run to the cup, but just haven't been able to win it.
Yeah.
I'll take the Predators.
I like Dallas because Dallas is a cool city. And I like the name Dallas Stars. Even though I don't like the Cowboys, the Dallas Stars.
I really like the green jerseys Dallas has.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool.
I agree.
And I do like Dallas too. I would like for WrestleMania to go back to Dallas. Just a random thought of mine. I enjoyed that city. So I picked the Predators, but hey, go back to WrestleMania, Dallas.
Well, goddamn, pal.
The next matchup would be the Winnipeg Jets and the St. Louis Blues. The Jets finished 2 games above the Blues. The Jets finished 47-30. The Blues were 45-28. I'm going to take the St. Louis Blues. They're another team that always gets so close.
For me, I like the Blues just because it's a cooler name.
And that city needs something to pull for since they don't have the Rams anymore.
Right.
I mean, they got the Cardinals in baseball, but
you know who the Rams do have? It's a John Wolford to Todd Gurley touchdown. Touchdown Rams. Rams, 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 Rams. Everybody. Rams, Rams, Rams.
That's John Wolford to Brandon Cooks touchdown pass. Mamma mia! Touchdown Rams! Rams, 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 Rams!
I missed the AAF, man.
Yeah. Did you hear there's going to be a class action lawsuit?
I did hear that.
Yeah.
Breaking news 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
The next would be the Flames and the Avalanche. I'll take the Flames in honor of our man Brad Ward.
And I'm going to spite Brad, and I'm going to take the Avalanche. Even though Stan Kroenke's a fucking prick.
Does he own the
Yes.
Avalanche as well?
Yes.
I did not know that. And then you would have the San Jose Sharks and last year's Western Conference champs, the Las Vegas Knights. I'm going to take the Sharks. They've always been close to winning. They haven't won a cup yet. They've been close. I think they're going to be hungry. I think the Vegas is going to have a down year compared to last year's.
I have the Sharks because it's a cool name, and whenever I played NHL 97 on the PlayStation, I always played as the Sharks.
That's cool, and I also think they have very cool jerseys as well.
Yeah.
I think they're like the equivalent of they're like the Charlotte Hornets of the NHL jersey was.
Or the Ducks. The Ducks have really cool jerseys as well.
The old Ducks jerseys, not this new crap.
Like the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, not the ones they got now, like the black and the gold and all that.
Yeah.
Shit sucks. With that, I would have the Predators versus the Blues. You would have the Stars versus the Blues. I would take the Blues over the Predators.
I got the Stars.
Stars to the Western Conference Finals. Definitely realistic. Because we do see hockey, it seems like. Once you get in the playoffs, anybody can win. Then I would have the Sharks. You would have the Sharks. You'd have the Avalanche. I have the Flames. I will take the Flames to the Western Conference Finals.
I got the
They're
Sharks.
doing it for Brad.
Brad doesn't even watch hockey.
Hey,
What?
when they're in the playoffs, he does. Or
No,
says he does.
he doesn't.
Big Patriot fan, Brad.
Oh man, playoff Patriots. I got the Sharks.
Okay. And then I have the Flames and the Predators. I think I took the Predators. I do not remember. No, we both took the Blues. No, you took the Stars. I took the Blues.
Yeah.
I will take the Flames to win the West. Brad will be celebrating in the streets of Calgary
On Twitter.
with Brett the Hitman Hart on his side.
And Chris Benoit. I got the Sharks.
The Sharks. All right, we go out to the East now. The team that dominated the whole NHL season was the Tampa Bay Lightning, winning 62 games, breaking all kinds of records. They will play the Columbus Blue Jackets, who actually won earlier today in a big upset in round one. With that, though, I will still take the Tampa Bay Lightning.
I got the Blue Jackets because the Blue Jackets are a cooler name.
And then we have the Boston Bruins.
Even though Columbus is a very boring city. Ohio in general is a very boring state.
I have never made it out to Columbus. I guess I do not want to.
Have you ridden to Ohio, period?
Yeah. Going up to Michigan to see my family.
How boring is it?
There's not much there other than the turnpike.
So it's pretty similar to North Carolina?
Yeah, that's probably fair. I feel like once, as far as North Carolina, when you're on the interstate and stuff, you don't see much until you actually go into the cities.
Right. Then Boston, Toronto.
I'm going to take the Maple Leafs.
I got Toronto because I feel like that. Was it Edge or Christian that used to wear the Maple Leafs jersey? I feel like somebody used to wear the Maple Leafs jersey.
Big Maple Leafs mark.
Would he wear a jersey to the ring though? Sometimes.
Sometimes he would.
Okay. All right. I'm going Toronto then.
Then we have the reigning, defending Stanley Cup champions, the Washington Caps, who a lot of people say were lucky last year, playing the Carolina Hurricanes. I'm going to take the Hurricanes.
You're taking the Hurricanes after what Tom Dunn did to the AAF?
Hey, man, it was all ploy. He's going to bring them back after they win the Cup.
I'm taking the Caps because fuck Tom Dundon.
And then we got shout out to Matt Black, his Pittsburgh Penguins versus the New York Islanders, which is Boxcar Timmy's team, right?
Yeah.
So So which one of our friends will we be saying will be going to the next round?
I'm gonna spite both of them and say neither. But if I had to pick, I would say Pittsburgh because I hate New
They've
York.
just been the dominant team.
Also because I hate New York.
Yeah, I agree. I did not. We'll get more into that next week as we review our trip next week. But the Penguins, which that would give us, we both took Toronto. You took the Jackets. I took the Lightning. I will take the Lightning over the Maple Leafs.
I got, you think you know me. You think you know me.
So Edge will be in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, you know me. Do, do, do. My Durango, Mamba 45. Take it down and hold that. Now I gotta stop, man. Now I gotta stop. I can keep going.
What a classic.
His best theme.
And then I lost my concentration. The Penguins and you took the Caps. I'll take the Penguins over the Hurricanes.
I got Washington. I agree.
And then I have the Penguins and the Lightning. You have the Maple Leafs and the
Caps.
Caps. I will take the Lightning to the Stanley Cup Finals.
I got Edge coming in and spearing Ovechkin, allowing the Maple Leafs to score the final goal in overtime. Wearing his motorcycle helmet that he used to spear John Cena with at One Night Stand 2006.
One of the all-time great pay-per-views.
I would agree.
So in the Stanley Cup Finals, I have a rematch of the 2004 Stanley Cup Finals, the Flames and the Lightning. The Lightning will once again defeat them. I will take the Lightning. Brad goes home crying.
Brad's going to block you.
Please don't do that, Brad.
I got Toronto over...
Was it Dallas?
I think I said San Jose.
San Jose.
I got Toronto winning.
I'd be cool with that. I'm cool with it.
Hey, Logan, we got to go to Toronto for SummerSlam.
I will not be attending SummerSlam, but I may be attending the Tournament of Survival live from Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Oh my God.
GC Dub.
GC Dub. GC Dub. That.
Sorry to our listeners, it's probably confused,
But yeah. You want to go ahead and go to our rankings?
Yeah, I'll give 3 power rankings that I'll give, and you give 3 that you do.
Okay.
I'll start us off, since you probably have to find yours, since I kind of brought up the segment all of a sudden.
I got mine in my head.
I will go for number 99,215, Liberace.
All right, and I'm doing this based on WrestleMania week, by the way.
Liberace was, let me give you my reasoning. Liberace danced at WrestleMania 1 at Madison Square Garden.
Okay, all right. I like the tie-in. For my 365, I'm going. I'm going Nick Gage.
Explain to the audience who Nick Gage is.
He is a wrestler for GCW. He robbed a bank and was charged with armed robbery and got jail time and was in jail, I want to say, for about 3-4 years. Got out on parole. A couple months later, got thrown back in jail, and then got out 2 years later in
He's
2017.
A good man.
He's a great man. He is a refined citizen.
He does it for the kids.
He does. I think he's a outstanding role model. I went to a show once, and there were children there watching Nick Gage wrestle, and he was high-fiving them, and the kids were loving it. He does it for the fans, man.
My second one is it is number 18,929, Nelly Furtado.
I'm like a bird.
Because she was romantically involved with NBA legend Steve Nash at one time.
Okay.
And actually, that I think she wrote that song "Promiscuous Boy" or whatever it was.
Promiscuous boy teasing me.
Apparently, she made that about him. I was reading.
Oh. So is she trying to say that Steve Nash likes to get some side poon?
Probably.
I'm okay with that. More power to Steve Nash. He likes to run around the court.
And who is your second?
My 77,353 pick is Kota Ibushi after an amazing match against Tetsuya Naito at the G1 Supercard and won the IWGP Intercontinental Championship.
One of my favorite matches from the weekend, an all-time classic.
And the match that made me say, all right, I'm ready to go home.
Nothing's going to top this.
Right. Was I right?
For that show, yes. I would say that Kofi and Daniel Bryan were right on par with it the next night, but we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, but was it better than the ladder
Okada?
match and Okada?
It was better than the ladder match. Okada had a cool near fall, but overall match-wise, this blew everything away. The closest thing to it was Jeff Cobb and Will Ospreay.
Okay.
But I feel like because it was a big match for the IC title that topped Jeff Cobb and
The workhorse title, brother.
yeah. I mean, it's basically when you saw that match, that's what you wanted to see when they announced it for MSG, and I was glad I got the full Shin Nippon experience with that match.
Did you open your eye when Tetsuya Naito came out and put your fist up?
I did, and the guy beside me, there's a guy I went to Mania with that sat beside me and didn't know what was going on, and he fell asleep during this classic. Which I don't know how you fall asleep during that classic, but
Some people, man, they just aren't real fans. Is said person gonna fall asleep at any future shows?
probably, because if you fall asleep at a match like that or WrestleMania, you're probably going to fall asleep at other shows.
Yeah.
Unless it's a women's match, you might stay awake.
What if it's transgender women? Like they're having at AEW?
He won't fall asleep because it's well, I'm just gonna say he won't fall asleep. I'm not gonna get into politics on the show.
Goddamn, pal.
My last random celebrity for the week. I mean, random athlete for the week at 11,983. Stop it, kitty. Is Shaun White, professional snowboarder, 2-time Olympic gold medalist. And the reason we picked him this week is because if his head was like bigger, he would look like he would look like the movie Mask that scared the shit out of me as a kid.
And my oh gosh. My last pick for 17,609. Since we're doing Final Four action, my man, Mateen Cleaves.
Oh, did not see that coming, Mamma Mia.
The 2000 Michigan State Spartans, the captain of the team that led them to become national champions in the NCAA tournament. I mean, who else would you pick, man? Gotta stick to history.
He's had an amazing week.
Right.
Funny story about that is when Mateen Cleaves came out for the draft, I thought he would be like an NBA star.
You know, I feel like a lot of people that get drafted, it's a toss-up.
Some people's games just don't transition.
Right.
Like they don't have that extra bit of speed to play against the other athletes.
Right. And I feel like a lot of people that get picked, you're either, if they're going to be good, they're either really good at the beginning or it takes them a while to get good.
Right.
Like Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, and I'd say similarly would be Kemba Walker. He started off his career slow, but man, he's one of the superstars in the league right now.
And then on the other hand, you have LeBron James and Dwight Howard.
Yeah. Didn't you have those guys that like start off good and just never do anything ever again?
Yeah.
Whether it be injury or, and I hate to say it, Brandon Roy, if he didn't get hurt, he could have been an all-time great.
Or Greg Oden.
Yeah, and then there's just the bust.
And then you have... then you have Kwame Brown.
Yeah.
Still don't understand that pick, but especially in that draft when you have Tyson Chandler and Pau Gasol, Joe Johnson, Zach Randolph, Gerald Wallace, Tony Parker, Gilbert Arenas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Gilbert Arenas, man. He was one of the best players in the league at one time.
Yeah.
Now he's with Mia Khalifa on a sports podcast show that's not as good as ours.
Right. And then you also have the fact that he brought guns to the locker room.
Oh, yeah. I forgot all about that. That was talked about for weeks.
Yeah.
Probably was way overblown.
I agree.
And wasn't he just like trying to like do a motivation thing with it? Like,
I don't even know.
I thought it was supposed to be like motivation if I remember correctly.
Oh, man.
I mean, not like motivation like, hey, you better win or I'm going to blow all your heads off.
What else do you want to talk about?
I think that's, as far as sports stories, I think that might be, unless you can think of anything. I can't think of anything else big that happened.
No. We've been on for an hour, so I think now's a good time to say fuck Tom Dundon. And I'm excited for the NBA playoffs this weekend.
Exactly. I guess that's what we'll be covering next week, along with we wanted to do this with Alex. We're gonna document our trip from the past week. I think we got I know I got some interesting New York stories to tell y'all and what I thought about the city, and overall some of the shows we went to. And we'll have a new segment that I think will be fun for everybody called Alex Learns WWE. I know that got a lot of attention over the weekend, got us some new followers, a lot of likes and retweets. So it seems like that seems to be a thing people like. So that might be a monthly thing for us in the future.
Eventually, we're going to turn it into Alex Learns Wrestling because I really want him to see Spring Break.
Yeah, I think that would be a cool thing in general at some point is Alex Learns Wrestling. Any big events coming up, we watch with Alex. I think it would be a fun thing to do.
I agree.
When we get to that part, we'll probably keep it at the end of the show for you guys. So if you don't want to hear about wrestling, you don't have to. I know we do have an audience out there that is into it. So
we want to cater to everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of how me and Nick met originally, was through wrestling. So it's kind of a cool thing for us to do. But I think that's it for this week, unless you can think of anything.
No. Thank you again, guys, for listening, and see you next week.